Just get married. You don't have to be engaged for a year. Just get married quickly. Whenever you find the venue, I feel like you don't change your mind as much. Everything can be done in that amount of time. And I feel like sometimes we make it it is a big deal to get married, but I feel like we sometimes add more hoops than we need to.
Welcome to the Up Your Average podcast, where Keith and Doug give no-nonsense advice to level up your life. So buckle up and listen closely to Up Your Average.
Doug, good morning.
Good morning. You know, Keith, this is our 65th Up Your Average podcast. Thanks to Gabe Green for making me aware of that today. How about that?
The 2026 will be my 65th year on the planet. So there's a lot of good 65s going on here.
A theme going.
Yeah,
here.
I love it.
Theme going here. Hey, we've got our good friend Elizabeth Owens here today. And I say our good friend because I've known Elizabeth since what? I think LJ was maybe,
before kindergarten.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
And
Elizabeth is an entrepreneur. And I love people who are creating stuff and changing the world, making it a better place. And Elizabeth is a wedding coordinator, wedding planner. What are you people called?
Do both, but coordinator.
Tell me the difference between a wedding coordinator and a wedding
question.
planner.
The wedding planner is more like a part of the whole process from the beginning. Like, I'll call your vendors, I'll book everything.
So I say, Connie, will you marry me? And then we turn it over to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I feel like a lot of brides and grooms, especially brides these days, like to be in charge of everything. And then the coordinator aspect is I just take it, I'm their hands and feet that day.
So that when we get to the venue the day of, then
you don't have to worry about anything. Yep. And we meet a couple times along the way just so I can get to know the couple but then kind of capture their vision of what they're going for. And then we take it over the day of.
Now, I've heard horror stories where wedding coordinators don't show up or things like that.
And that's how our business started. But
okay.
Yes, that can happen.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like, as the father of the bride, these things don't faze me, but
Right.
I watch the other side, like the wife and the daughters, they go crazy.
Yes.
Tell us about that, Elizabeth, how your business got started.
Yes. So my sister and our business is Save the Day Sisters. Our business started when we were planning our brother's and sister-in-law's wedding. And she went to lunch with a friend randomly from preschool, and her wedding planner canceled on her the week of her wedding. So we heard about this on a Thursday. Their wedding was a Saturday. The venue, White Willow, that they were getting married at requires you to have a coordinator. So we stepped in. We met with them Friday. We showed up on Saturday and did it. And everyone at the venue was saying, you guys should do this professionally. The family was saying, you're literally saving the day. Kept saying saving the day. And that's where our name came from, of Save the Day Sisters. So
I love it.
Yes.
That is so cool. And so I peppered Elizabeth with like paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of questions. And thankfully she said, let's not do that. Let's do my top 10 list instead. And so we've got Elizabeth's top 10 here.
Top 10 things I've learned.
You want to start at 10 and work down?
We can. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good way to go. And number 10, never feel bad about ending early.
Yes. Sarah helped me come up with that one.
Okay.
It's your day. It's a long day. I always tell people it's such an exciting day. The venue, especially that we work at, you can get at 9 a.m. and then you have to end. Music has to stop at 11 p.m. So it can be a long day, and it's an emotional day. It's a lot of emotion for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of times our brides and grooms are tired early, but just want to hold out because they paid until 11.
Okay.
But your vendors appreciate going home a little bit early as well. But I feel like if you want to end early, you don't have to wait until 11.
Yeah. So most couples, you have one extrovert, one introvert.
Usually, yes.
So the introvert might want to land the plane. Yeah. Okay. That's good.
And a lot of times we'll see just the bride and the bridesmaids, where it's like, just read the room.
Yeah.
No matter even at your wedding. And if people are leaving.
Who are the last people there anyway?
Usually the bridal party.
Okay.
But I mean, the cleanup and everything, and that's part of what we do. We clean up everything. So we are technically the last people there. But family-wise, I feel like it's usually a couple of the bridal party that are sticking
So
out.
who would say, because it would seem like the bride and groom would be kind of disconnected from what's really going on. Who
Right.
would say, let's bring this ship home?
Usually, and that's if you have a coordinator or your DJ.
Okay.
We have those moments of like, let's just make touch point. Like if you're planning on doing your send off at 10:45, especially if you want to send off and you want that moment, we have check-in points of we're reading the room for you
Okay.
and just checking in
Yeah.
to make sure.
A good DJ. What's the line?
A good DJ. I don't know what the line.
Like, yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9, Elizabeth, invite who you want.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Invite who you want. Because I feel like a lot of times couples, especially that's when the family has opinions as well of who they want invited. But if you can keep your numbers smaller, it's going to be less expensive. And I just invite who I feel like a lot of times people put pressure on themselves. Like we have to have kids there. Kids definitely. And I love kids. I was a teacher elementary for 10 years. But kids definitely change the atmosphere of a wedding. On all parts for the venue, for the guests and everything. So just keep it smaller and invite who you want. Like, don't feel that pressure of like, well, Aunt Susie that I see every other Christmas. If you guys don't want Aunt Susie there, don't have Aunt Susie.
And the Shreves have 4 kids, so
Exactly.
don't invite the 4 kids.
Yes, no.
One of the things I've noticed with the 3 that we've done so far for our family is nobody ever asked my opinion. As the dad, they've never asked me. They didn't ask me who I wanted invited. Like so far, nobody's. So like it's kind of funny because if some of my friends don't get invited, I'm like, sorry about your luck. I didn't know. They didn't ask my opinion.
Yeah,
They took
which
Elizabeth's
is
number.
for you.
Yeah. I'm like, I had no idea who was invited.
And I think that trend is that's more of like an old school, like, oh, well, we need to invite these people for my family. But I feel like people are kind of getting away with that, but I would just encourage people to lean into that.
Yeah, and I was reading the Financial Advisor magazine, and it said 70% of folks getting married today pay for their own weddings, and so it would make sense that if you could cut down some of the costs. And Keith reminded us that that's what he did. Is they paid for their own weddings. That's pretty cool.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about this, Elizabeth, is that I think the changing dynamics of weddings is the fact of the merging and the elimination of church buildings. So you have mega churches that have absorbed all the local church buildings. And so there were, when I got married, there were all kinds of venues. You could just go in a church building and have a wedding, and they're just not even there anymore.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but that's true.
All right, Elizabeth, number 8. First looks. What's this?
Okay, a first look. A lot of times couples go back and forth about having a first look or not. First look meaning, am I going to see you before the aisle?
Okay.
More traditional to not see the bride or groom like until walking down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do a first look and are open to that, to each their own. But if you're open to it, it definitely helps the flow of the day. You get more pictures. And talking to a bunch of photographers, they agree that you get more of a genuine reaction as opposed to like the groom being like, well, I need to cry, or like feeling forced to have a certain reaction when you see each other for the first time. So I feel like if you do a first look, you can do it earlier in the day. You can have that moment. A lot of couples will do their vows just privately and kind of have that time together. And then I feel like it takes the nerves of like the anxiousness of seeing each other.
That's good. I never thought of it like that. Like there's probably some really good first look photographs out there, like a deer in the headlights.
Yes. Yeah, but that's a good one. I mean, I didn't do a first look, so you don't have to, but
They do a dad's first look too.
they do. Yeah, that's a special moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite. Yeah. We've done dad first look. People sometimes do it with their grandparents, brothers, which is fun. But we've also, there's a new fun thing that people are doing. It's having like tricking the groom, saying you're doing a first look, and then one of the groomsmen will come up in a dress. And
I've seen those.
yeah. That I don't love as much, but each their own.
Yeah, which we'll have to get into speeches.
Yes.
Late. You want to do that now?
Yeah, that one is a good one to do right now. Speeches. I love speeches because I feel like you get to know the couple a lot during that time for the most part. But some people really focus on inside jokes, and that is not the time. It's not the time. I feel like it's fun because that's what your relationship is with them, but you only have a couple minutes to read the room, and people definitely disengage if they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about having written speeches versus somebody just going off the cuff?
definitely write your speech. Definitely. Unless you're, but I feel like for timing purposes, for yourself emotionally, just have a plan. But I'm a planner. That's what I do. So.
I've noticed, my own observation is where alcohol leaves those speeches. Everybody's wanting, like, please kill that person. Like this is
just wrap it up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
For sure.
Okay. So first looks, I learned something new there. And then this kind of ties into it. Number 7.
Yeah. Private last dance. It's a new trend.
What is that?
I will tell you. So it's when, especially if you want to send off, and a lot of times like the sparkler send off, we don't do them at White Willow, just the liability of the actual barn burning. But we do like that send off where everyone that's still there at the last wedding, like gets into 2 lines and the bride and groom walk through. But as we're getting people out for that, a new trend is the bride and groom have a private last dance with just the 2 of them in the venue. At the end of the night, the DJ will put on a song. Everybody walks out of the venue, but it's just the 2 of them in there to kind of wrap up the night and have that moment. And I feel like
do a first dance.
They still do a first dance,
okay,
yes, in front of everyone. But the last dance is kind of just like at the end of the night, you guys can talk about the day and end up.
One last look.
One last time, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely, because I feel like a lot of times at weddings, you're not even with the bride and groom necessarily because you're talking to other people. I know at my wedding, at least, that we were separate and talking to different people. And it would have been nice to have that, like, this is the end of our day because we put a lot of work and time and effort.
Yeah.
So just soak up that last moment together.
We did one of those sparkler things at one of my kids' weddings, and as the dad, I was holding the sparkler like this, like as far from me as possible, because I had a bougie suit on, and I'm like, I don't want to burn up my suit.
Yeah. Can't do
It was pretty sketchy. There were sparklers all around me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, get away from me.
Yeah, and people and alcohol and fire, it's never
not good.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to get into my favorite portion of this time with Elizabeth. Number 6.
Yeah.
Tell me about late night snacks, or where it's at.
Yes. I feel like people get so excited about late night snacks. So you have and a late night snack can be anything, but like you have your main course after everything starts. But then around 9, we've had people bring Chick-fil-A, breadsticks, nacho bar. There was one time the whole head table was tacos. like
from Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Like, yes.
I love that. I wish I was at that wedding.
People go crazy. I feel like that's guests' favorite part of the wedding is that, and that's what I'm like, and that leads into the next one. If people just want good food at a wedding, so don't worry about the 4-course meal. Paper plates are fine. Like they make such good plastic that looks real, and that's not great for the environment, but it's going to get thrown away. People just want good food. So city barbecue. We've had brides have pizza at a wedding. Like just people want good food.
Okay. And I would imagine that's where a lot of the cost is in a wedding.
Yes, for sure.
And so you don't have to spend a lot more.
No, because people just want good food.
Oh, that's awesome. I know that those are always takeaways. Like for me, hey, that chicken was really dry.
Exactly.
Or that city barbecue nailed it. I think you guys had city barbecue at one, right?
We did. Well, and
that was awesome.
Yeah. When Connie and I were in your stage of life, where we had all the little kids, we would RSVP yes to the wedding, no to the reception, because we never had dates. So we knew back in that day, we were going to get camouflage chicken and seated at a table with somebody we didn't know.
Exactly.
And so we always skipped the reception so we could have a date and go have a real dinner.
Yeah.
So having good food and not being this formal seems like it would make a lot of sense.
It does. It really does. And people just want good food.
It's so funny, Keith, because like I love the reception.
Well, I don't mind it. I just don't like camouflage chicken.
I love the meeting strangers part.
You have two introverts, Mary. Yeah.
Okay, so late night snacks. That was a new one for me. A lot of this is new for me. But the late night snacks, that's pretty clever.
Yep.
And the food makes sense with especially every male who's out there.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah. For number 4, I put the night does come to an end. My sister and I do this together, and every time. So at 9 a.m. is when the couple gets there. We start unloading everything. We set up all the tables, and every time we're like, "It's so sad. This is all getting put away in a couple hours."
Right.
Which is true. I mean, yes, make it as elaborate as you want, but at the end of the night, it's all going back in the box. So that's something I would redo of my own wedding. Of like, people don't care about the 6 tea lights on the table. Like you could have a couple, but everything's getting packed up anyway. So just keep that in mind of like, don't break the bank trying to fill the table, because people honestly, and it's sad, not everyone notices everything on the table. A lot of people, the majority of people aren't noticing what's on the table. And then even for what we do, we start subtly cleaning up as the night goes on. And people literally people will be handing us stuff because they don't want it on the table anyway, because they want more room and can see people. And
yeah. You got to move the flower thing.
Move the flower thing. Yep. Yeah. So like less, I know a lot of people say less is more, but I would definitely lean into that with table decor.
And so on the cleanup, like how late have you stayed at a wedding venue?
Oh, we've gotten
been home at 3?
Maybe 2:30. I feel like 2:30 has been our latest time getting home.
Now, do venues, don't they charge fees if you stay too late? Like, don't they have a time where you have to be out?
And that's what White Willow especially requires you to have a coordinator, because then we are cleaned up. Like we have your vehicle loaded usually by 11 when it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do. A lot of venues will charge extra if you're there later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I really like this one. Choose wisely. And you had a few things on here.
I did. I said choose wisely. I said your spouse.
I mean, that's number 1.
That's number 1. Your venue and your vendors.
And this is coming from a woman with some experience, which is what I really like. So choose wisely your spouse.
Wisely. It's just interesting. I feel like true colors come out in a wedding. And sometimes those true colors can be hidden, but I feel like they're definitely highlighted in a wedding scenario.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of times, and I know I struggled with this too, people just want to get married. Like that's what you do. You get married. But it's definitely worth waiting for the right person. Someone that's, I've just seen a lot of things where especially younger grooms or younger brides that have an idea in their head and don't always, I don't know. Just sometimes I just pray for them. Pray for them after the wedding.
That's a good reason to hire a coordinator right there. While they're cleaning, they're praying for you.
I think that one of the things that Gimbal would jump in with that with Elizabeth is the idea that, man, we want more and more marriages in America today. We want happy marriages, and we're in such a decline in that in our culture that whatever we can do to cheer people on, and I don't even know how you do that. Like that seems like that's a challenge right now for people to even make that match.
Yeah, I agree. I for sure agree, and I feel like it's just obviously with Christian values that I have, but I feel like some people don't go into a marriage necessarily with those values, which teach their own. But I feel like it's a lot easier to think it's just, if it doesn't work out, then it's just a piece of paper.
Which seems absurd if you're going to put that much energy to jumpstart something that you wouldn't think longer than the wedding, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But
so beyond the spouse, you mentioned choosing your venue, your vendors.
Yes. So your venue is important just because you want to what you are getting with the venue.
Whether that's your backyard.
Whether it's your backyard, whether it's a barn, whatever, the rich chart, whatever you're picking, make sure it's accommodating for what you're wanting, and then that you're getting your money's worth. So think through all the things that are important to you. But the vendors, and I'm not even trying to, but I would say over coordinator, a good DJ is the most important
That's
thing.
number one.
That's number one. That would be number one.
That is a good word.
For the actual event. And even my husband, DJ Summon, I was talking to him about this, and he was like, you don't think a photographer? Obviously, photographer, videographer, if you want to do that for the memory purpose.
Yeah.
But for the actual event, I would say a DJ.
Because they're quarterbacking the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, they're hosting your event. So if they're awkward, your event's going to feel awkward. If they don't know what's happening, people aren't going to know what's happening. But if they know, if they're on top of it, and that's why a good DJ and a coordinator are great, because the coordinator can be the hands and feet, and then the DJ are the ones actually making it happen.
What have you guessed that? I mean, it makes sense now.
That's been my experience with our kids, because you can, like, as the father of the bride, if I need to shift something myself, if I need to step in, I'll just go talk to
the DJ.
Yeah. You know, one of the other selections, now I don't want to toot my own horn with this, Elizabeth, but is the officiant. It's like, and it goes back to the same process, I think, that you've had consolidation of church buildings. Mm-hmm. The younger generation, my observation, don't really go to a church building on Sunday.
Yes.
And so they don't have anybody to do the deed.
Yeah.
And so I've ended up in that, which has been a really funny thing. And so even me observing it, independent of what you're talking about, is the venues that they've chosen have been really interesting. I did one this year at the state, or 2025 at the state capitol.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was kind of the DJ, the coordinator, the whole thing.
Yep.
I'm roaming the state capitol trying to figure out, what are we doing here? Looking for the bride and the groom, and then waving at them and saying, up here.
Yeah.
Keith, like with a bass drum, cymbals on his head.
Yeah, because the young people don't have someone to even do that.
Yeah.
So how does that work out then?
For the officiant?
Yeah, I guess that's more maybe a planner, or you're probably not too involved in that part.
Well, I feel like sometimes people will be like, we don't have anyone to marry us. Do you have a recommendation? So like the venue, the owner, he could do it. Usually the venue has someone that they could recommend. I mean, my husband, I make him do a lot, but he can do it. So I feel like just having connections, but a lot of people, I feel like more so are using like parents or uncles or friends that are close to them. But it's definitely getting away from that traditional church, like a pastor needs to marry. And don't get me wrong, we still have those pastors that come in and want it to be exactly like it is in a church. And that's also has its own challenges as well.
and so on the traditions, this one hits home to me, and I think this is just great. Number 2.
Yes. The day of the week does not matter. And going into, before I started doing weddings, I would have said, well, Saturday is the only day you can get married. But leaning into that more, I have found even doing Friday weddings. And when we first started doing weddings, I'm like, why would you do a Friday wedding? People have to get off work. And, but after doing them, I feel like guests truly appreciate them better because it's something to do after work. They can come after work. They will stay later because it's fun. They've already worked all day. I feel like Saturday weddings, people more lean to, or you're taking up, like, people's time is valuable. And I don't have a lot of free weekends, and I don't know, like, I feel like it's more common. And that's what we've talked about too. I'm like, I would hate for someone to be like, oh, I have to go to this wedding. But a lot of times I feel like that's people's posture on Saturday weddings, because if the ceremony starts at 3:30, I had to get ready. So you're taking up more time. And then Sunday weddings are great too. But people will leave earlier because they're trying to get to work on Monday. But a lot of venues are even leaning into Wednesday, Thursday, like during the week weddings.
Yeah, I love the sound of a Friday wedding. That just sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, it is. And if you're wanting more of that party feel, I feel like Friday and Saturday are more the go-to. And then Sunday is more of a traditional, like, what we would have had after a church service.
And so with these traditions changing, what's the dress code at a wedding then?
You would be surprised. I feel like
I didn't ask you that one, did I?
No, but I feel like a lot of times we think, wow, you would wear that. I feel like the dress code is getting farther from a traditional dress code. Unless I feel like some of our brides are putting on the invitation, like black tie. Like there was one wedding we did and she wanted everyone to wear black. So everyone showed up in black. But I feel like the more traditional, like we see people in jeans, we see people, in all sorts of things. So I feel like that typical wedding attire is not as common.
Okay.
I don't think people get dressed up for anything anymore.
They really don't. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah. I love the idea of when you have it. Connie and I are of different opinions. A wedding to me is like, oh, I got to go. And Connie loves
it. Yes.
And the idea that, like, as an officiant, like the idea that I think they used to pay the officiant $200. I don't know what they pay them now.
Yeah.
But if I'm the officiant at a wedding on a Saturday, I'm like, oh, I got to go to the rehearsal dinner on Friday.
Yeah, it takes the whole weekend.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to be there to begin with. No, I mean, I'll help you guys, but like, I'm like, it takes a lot of love to give up that whole weekend like that. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And that's another thing is White Willow, the venue that I'm mainly at, they don't have rehearsal time because there usually is a wedding before, like the day before. And so a lot of times we will just do a day of rehearsal, which I feel like as a bride would have stressed me out. But as a coordinator, people listen more. Like it's just easier. And people are already there. And a lot of people are getting away from doing the full on rehearsal. Like they'll still sometimes do a dinner the night before, but that's also a way to save costs of you don't have to do. I feel like people have in their minds of, well, we have to do this. We have to do this. And you really don't have to.
Shift it to the fourth meal instead.
Exactly. Yes. Use that money towards a good DJ.
And so the number one thing.
Yes. Number one thing is preparation means peace. I feel like the most peaceful weddings I've been to are the ones where the couple is planned and listened to advice from those that you're hiring to help you plan. But then just truly being hands off that day and just going with the flow.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about Elizabeth? Like she didn't even know that our podcasts are normally 30 minutes. And she just nailed it on the timing. I was just looking at, I was like, I got a bunch more questions, but you just nailed it. But here's the final question, Elizabeth, is, what advice would you give for a couple who got engaged over New Year's?
Yes. And I feel like thinking about that, I would say just get married. You don't have to engage for a year. Just get married quickly. Whenever you find the venue, I feel like you don't change your mind as much. Everything can be done in that amount of time. And I feel like sometimes we make it it is a big deal to get married, but I feel like we sometimes add more hoops than we need to.
And you were engaged?
I was only engaged for 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can happen.
It can happen. You were engaged for 3.
We were engaged for 3.
So I think in a lot of things in life, there's just me thinking, I don't know anything about what you do, that people get themselves boxed in a little box.
Yes.
So to find a venue, they're going to go look at wedding venues. But we had one couple married in Gimbel's former office space.
Okay.
I went to one in the Capitol building this year.
Yeah.
I assume there's 100 parks
around
here. So the venues don't have to be everything that people put their small little brains into, right? So you could probably find a venue for this weekend if you needed.
If you needed to, yeah. And a lot of times those Friday and Saturday weddings don't fill up as fast because people are in a box of it has to be a Saturday. It has to be the perfect date. But I'm like, you're going to get a cost break if you do a Friday or Sunday. And a lot of venues need those days filled up too. So there might be a deal that you can get, but it doesn't have to be in a venue. Yeah. You can in the backyard.
Yeah.
Save the Day Sisters doesn't advertise. You're all word of mouth.
All word of mouth.
And so how do people get a hold of you, Elizabeth?
That's a great question. We have an Instagram. It's not real up to date because we're not great at social media, but we do have our website. So Save the Day Sisters and our email is on there. So Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers to all the engaged couples out there. Call Elizabeth, call Sarah, and they'll save the day.
We will.
And may 2026 be more engagements than we've seen in the last decade. May this just be a great year for young couples and young love.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Yeah.